Oh, let's kick it. So on today's call, I wanted to continue to extend all of the jovial nature that we have so far kicking this call off. And for today's Mindset Monday, the conversation that I wanted to kick off was, are you winning? But it's not the way that you think, right? Are you winning in the sense of, are you having fun playing the game? And what game are we talking about? And the idea that I'd like to bring up with this is that I have had the most success, the most results, and the most fun when I can gamify something that becomes tedious. Think about the things that you've done in the past that were fun because you entered into a challenge. There was a sprint. It was a 4-week contest or a 1-day, marathon blast or whatever it is. And you had a group of people, and then you had like stakes were on the table and there were prizes. So like, for instance, in May, so even at the corporate level here, our growth team, the regional directors, we don't get to go to all of the corporate retreat events and stuff that the top agents are invited to, just because they're really cognizant of expenses. And so what the leadership decided was, well, let's gamify it, and then let's track all the regions and their percentage of growth. And the top 2 regional directors each month will get invited to the next event. And so last month was the top agent mastermind and recruiting event, and 2 regional directors got to go. And then this month, yours truly took first place, and our region had a 4.8% growth, and the target is 3.3 or above. And the next closest was 3.6. I'm not going to say full 1.5% better, but it ended up that way as a full team. So here's the thing. What I'm saying is, it's my job, yes. And now I get to go to like Hilton Head with the executive team to then map out and vision plan for the rest of the year moving forward. And like, that's pretty freaking cool. Brad, you guys had just recently a connects or a contact, like talk about what you guys did at Breeze just recently, and like how that affected how you showed up for work.
Well, we've had 2. Virginia, let's see, last month she did a who could close if you could close 4 transactions or be under contract in 4 this was like in a month, you would be entered into a raffle to win $1,000 toward a new device, because I had a really old phone, so she based it off of that. She wanted me to buy a new phone, so she offered it to the team. So if you had 4 transactions under contract in the month, then you would be entered into a raffle, and then every transaction after that, she would give you another raffle ticket to be entered. And so I won that one. And then this month is from May 7th to May 27th. If you had 170 meaningful conversations, meaning 2 minutes or more about real estate logged, the winner of that would win Southwest a voucher to a plane flight wherever you want to go. So like, a lot of us want to go to EXPCon. So she's been sort of like, if you want to go to EXPCon, here's your way to win it. So I think I'm second in that one. I'm not sure. I ended the week strong last week, so we'll see. She's in Cancun right now, so
we'll see how it shakes out.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? Leaders on the call, we want to reward what we want to see most. Buyers and sellers, agents on our team, etc. Reward what you want to see most. So Virginia did something really great. She said 170 quality conversations. And then did you hear the last part, which was what? Logged into the system. Not just, oh, I did it, I promise, cross my heart, hope to, it's where? In the CRM. Why? Because now we can coach to the data. 4 under contract for $1,000 on a new device? Yes, please. What's the goal? I mean, 4 under contract, it all drives the whole thing. Here's the thing. Look, this get tedious? Yeah. Is it exciting during business planning season? And then whenever you're on your call and you're going back and forth and you're like vision dreaming and setting these things up, and it's like really exciting in the moment. And then you got to go back into the field. And is it exciting on the day to day, logging in on your own with that list of calls and having to plow through whatever the results are? No, not every day. And yet, there can be ways that we can gamify the opportunity. So, how do you do it? Right. So, if your organization isn't doing it, what's stopping you from finding like minded individuals that are on the same path as you and say, hey, who'd like to come in on something? Who'd like to do something? Right. And then what would that be? Like, how can you gamify it, create the stakes, etc.? How do you get like, right? Like maybe everybody does a buy-in and then there's like a 50-50 where the winner gets 50% of the buy-in and then the other 50% goes to like a charity or a local whatever. So it's on also like a feel good and also do good kind of thing. I don't know. Like there's I'm curious, what would be some of the different ways that you can gamify? Like, so we just did, and we're still, we're not through with the 4-week challenge. Or is it over? Did it just finish? It just finished. How did we do? No good. Why was there thumbs down, Michelle?
We didn't have people reporting. So I think people are excited in the beginning that didn't
Wah.
finish.
So the question then is, okay, how do we make it compelling enough, and how do we make the rewards valuable enough that people want to participate? Or did we not beat you over the head with it over and over again every single day to remind you? I don't know. Like, that's the question. So then the other side of it is, okay, cool. If contests and incentives don't do it for you, then what is it? What does? Today's conversation around what the mindset is, how do I continue to stay excited or do the things required when it doesn't feel like it? And what are the different ways? One of the ways that is super successful with a lot of teams are gamification. Think about, like, for instance, here's an example. EXP has a program called Vitality through our benefits and healthcare. And all it is, it's a fitness tracking back end that you get points for doing stuff that's connected to a device. Like every time I work out, I get vitality points. And if as my vitality points come, I get cash. They send me cash into my paycheck, like a couple $100. And then I also get like I get points that I can use to purchase things like watches and shoes and or gift cards to like fitness stores and stuff. Like here's the thing. It's just like it's a way for them to gamify or track or get me to want to do more of the things that actually cause me to stay healthy, which reduces their liability for me as an employee, right? For health. It's a health benefit program. So they gamify activity. The more active I am, probably the less likely I'm going to need diabetes medication or blood pressure medication or all these other things. Now, they do have to pay for bicep surgery, but that's a different story for another conversation. So I'm kind of a lost leader in that capacity. However, it's gamified. So what are some of the ways that it's worked for you? For instance, for me, 75 Hard, 2.5 years ago, was a way for me to gamify a total overhaul of my mindset conditioning. There was an app, there were rules, it was a challenge, and people did it together. There was group accountability. And that group accountability, along with the rules, along with the book, it created a culture and a movement of a mental and mindset reset. The thing is, with 75 Hard, a lot of people thought it was just a weight loss program. And that's actually the last thing it is. If you do it correctly, yeah, you lose a ton of weight. But when you do it correctly, it absolutely changes the way that you show up everywhere in your life. So Andy Frisella, First Form, they what they did there was something really, really magical. Like you couldn't, and it was free. I think the app was like $4 or something ridiculously small. And the book, if you wanted to buy the book and read all about it, but like you could do it on your own. But the app made it really easy. What are some of the ways, or what are ways that you guys respond? Okay, let's go all the way back. I was reading a meme, and the meme was like, when did you become food motivated? And then it was like a picture of Book It. You remember the Pizza Hut? The Book It? You read 10 books, you get a personal pan pizza, like as a kid. Ramo's shaking his head because you're too young. I remember.
Yeah, the crust is like this thick.
Yeah, it's the little personal pan pizza. It's all crust and 4 pepperonis. That's it.
Yeah.
It's also the first place I ever tasted anchovies. I thought that was like a thing, and it's not a thing. It's as a third grader, anchovies are not your friend. But think about it. They gamified reading. What else?
I think part of it is obviously you have to have self-motivation in there, but I think you hit it on the head when you said like having a group, accountability partners. And I think one of the things that can be the most effective is to find the person that you know won't let you down, that you know will call you out on your BS when you don't show up. Rochelle and I have tried to work out together. We don't call each other out on our BS. It doesn't work well when we're holding each other accountable from a workout.
So why do you guys hate each other then?
Right. No, I get what you're saying. Right. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, I love you and I should push you to be better. But
so why don't you?
I don't know. That I don't know. But yeah. But I think that it's finding the right people, and like when maybe the people that you have hold you accountable in your fitness world aren't going to be the same people that you're going to have hold you accountable in your business world. It's finding the right people that understand you and don't necessarily. I mean, I'm sure there's probably 2 handfuls of agents I can think of off the top of my head where if I said I'm going to make 50 calls a day, they'd be like, you're crazy. They can't see themselves doing that. They think it's crazy. They're not going to hold you accountable to that. So you have to find the right person that can see the same vision, or at least that's going to say, I can't see your vision, but I can see that you have a vision that I'm going to hold you to.
Yeah. These medals back here, right? I just thought of this now as we're talking out loud. Like one of the reasons why this work, like I am also highly motivated by like, not recognition, if you will, but like gifts or prizes or whatever. And so like being able to get a medal or a t-shirt and being able to wear saying I completed or I did this thing that most people don't is like pretty highly motivating for me. The other side of it is these races aren't free. Like some of them are like $100 or $200 to participate in. Like the full marathon was like almost $200. And so I know that if I register and pay $200, guess what I'm doing? I'm going to move my ass and cover the miles because I'm not going to eat that, right? Because there's a part of me that's like, I'm not going to let that go to waste, which is often why coaching works so well for most. Whenever you buy into and participate in coaching, free calls are great. Mentorships are fine. But like when you really want to get serious about your own growth, sometimes you've got to put your own investment on the line and then you show up different. It's a different conversation than just an accountability amongst peers. When I'm paying for coaching, I show up different. I listen, and then I do the work. Why? Because I'm paying for it. Why would I burn that cash and throw it in the air? So sometimes if you're not receiving the results, it's because you're trying to do it as cheaply as possible with as little accountability as possible. That can sometimes be it, right? So gamification is a fun way to get uncomfortable. There's a reward for your discomfort, but at the end result is the goal. And it's how do you gamify the discomfort? How do you sugarcoat the inconvenience, or how do you create energy around? And sometimes it's a community, like it's easier to suffer in a group. Like when we went to Minnesota 2 years ago in March for the Unbreakable event, it was listen, I remember very specific. It was March 31st. It was March 31st in Minnesota. It was 34 degrees outside. It was raining and there was 19 inches of ice in that stupid lake. And there were 80 of us jumping in that water. And if there were one of us, if it was just me, I wouldn't have done it. I almost didn't do it with 80. I was sitting there the whole time going, I don't know if I'm actually going to do this. I'm not. And then I got like pushed to the front of the line and I was like third. And I was like, shoot, I'm doing this. And then my foot went into the water and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. It felt like someone chopped my foot off before I got the rest of my body. And as soon as my body went in, I was like, oh, who brought the like killer bees into the water? I was just being attacked underwater. And then I just shut everything off and went into the darkness. And if you saw the photo, you could see it in my face. I was like, this is the worst choice I've ever made. And I'm doing it with friends. Yay. But that's the thing, right? Like I would have never done that on my own. Like if I live at Joey's house, I'm not jumping in that lake by myself just because like, oh, the benefits. Mm-mm. But there's like 10 other people going in. Guess who's not gonna go? Guess who's not gonna go in? This guy. Peer pressure is the son of a gun. Especially with those stupid cold plunges.
Sometimes our ego is a good thing too.
Well, that's the thing, right? So the gamification, the accountability, public accountability, sharing goals in public, creating a group of accountability, buying into that accountability, being financially committed, being publicly committed. Shame is a great accountability. If you don't do it, we're going to have you dress up in a chicken suit on the corner of the street. And I don't know, like what, I don't know. Like, or like who's like go to a football game in the opposing team's jersey, or like there's so many different kind of like fun and funny punishments that you can have to gamify these things that like if you actually had to pay up, changes everything.
Wasn't it Audra that got threatened with singing in
Yes.
public?
I did.
Who would do that? What a jerk.
You.
I know.
But it worked. It worked. We were supposed to
look at you now.
Oh yeah. This is what, gosh, 2017?
Yeah.
Yeah,
8 years ago.
Yeah. I was in this class where we had to make 100 contacts a week. I think. No, yeah. It was 100 contacts a week. And I kept coming, so contacts, actual conversations, not just a text message or an email. And I would get close, but every week I just wasn't getting all the way there. And so before the class started, he had a like 30-minute, hey, if you need a little bit of extra help or anything, come in. And so I did. I'm like, listen, I'm getting close, but not quite there. Like, what do I need to do? And he said, well, why are you here? And I said, well, if I don't get my stuff done, if I don't make this work, I'm not going to be able to, like, I've got to feed my kids, got to take care of my family. He's like, no, that's not enough. And I was like, honestly, I was a little offended and I didn't really care for him too much in that moment. So I was like, how dare you say that that's not enough? But it was true because what he said was, no matter what, you're going to find a way to feed your kids, right? He's like, this, you're going to figure it out. And I'm like, well, yes, that's true. He said, hey, do you sing? And I said, no, in the car alone by myself, but that's it. He's like, cool. But next week, if you get here and your contacts aren't done, you're starting the class with leading everyone in the national anthem by yourself. And I was like, it's still, just even saying that made my stomach hurt. I mean, this is how many years later? And I'm like, oh my gosh. The next day I got all of my contacts for the week done in a day because I wasn't going to do that. It worked. And I never, for the rest of that 8-week class, or I don't remember how long it was, never had to sing. So it works. You got to find something painful enough though. For me, the pain works more than the fun reward. Like,
Yeah.
you sing?
Here's the challenge, right? And I got to check myself with this always as well, is if the consequence hurts your stomach, you were never committed. You were lying to begin with. The consequence shouldn't matter if you're committed to the work. if you're just willing to do what you said you would, I could say you need to write me a $30,000 check. And you'd be like, fine, whatever, I'll write it. Like, I'm still going to do it. You're never going to have to cash it. Like, I'm going to just do it. But if there's even a twinge in your stomach, subconsciously, you're full of shit. That's it. And you're a liar, no matter how beautifully you craft your reasons why. And that's the thing. Some of you are like Pulitzer Prize winning authors of bullshit. And you've convinced yourself of bullshit over and over again. And here's the thing. You've told yourself the lie so many times, you believe it. And you get everybody else to as well. And here you go. And you continue to go down the path of all the challenges and struggles that keep showing up. And whether it's in this version of your life or the next, whatever challenges you had in your prior job or your prior relationships is going to continue to show up until you deal with the lies that we keep telling ourselves. So what I'm saying is simply, how do you cut through that? And sometimes you can do it with a carrot, and sometimes you got to do it with a stick. You got to figure out which motivates you most, carrots or sticks. Are you reward driven? Or are you pain avoidant? 90% of the people out there are more pain avoidant than rewards driven. There are some that are so highly competitive. They say they're rewards driven, but underneath it, they're pain avoidant. The pain of admitting that they lost, having to publicly say they're second or third, is worse than the activities. So they'll do whatever it takes in order to win. So they say they're rewards driven, but most people are actually pain avoidant. And the challenge is, how do you manufacture or generate pain great enough that's true and visceral and you really feel it, that causes you to take action, as opposed to just it's just saying you want it versus actually making sure that nothing's going to stop you. And like, it's really easy to say, I want it. And then your calendar calls you out. Your actions call you out. Your energy calls you out. Like, you get called out. And the more you say you want it and then don't do it, the more out of integrity you are. And the more cognitive dissonance you create, which also starts to generate low self-worth. Like all of those negative feelings that show up at the end of the day, the anxiety and low self-worth is simply a result of not doing the things that you said you would in private, because your subconscious doesn't know the difference between private and public. It just knows that you lied to yourself and your family. This is the core of all of it. So gamify it. But like, the thing about when we gamify it is there's got to be consequences in there as well. There's got to be a buy-in. There's got to be accountability. You've got to manufacture a discomfort that is equal to or greater than the activity itself. Whatever that is. I don't know what that is for you. Everyone's going to have a private relationship with their discomfort. Some people women, you handle pain way better than men. We're babies. The general man cold is a prime example, right? Like, we're babies. So for me, it's a lot easier. I don't have to manufacture that much discomfort. Like, it all hurts. Right? It may be harder for you guys. Gross generalizations. I should put like an asterisk there in the thing. Like, Matt's going to go into gross generalizations with gender on this call. Thoughts? Because we're at time. So put in the chat, what do you think you are? Are you a carrot or a stick motivated? Are you carrot or stick motivated? Throw it in the chat. Carrot or stick? What are you?
I got kicked off, so I don't know what the carrot and stick are.
Well, if you had to imagine what the difference between a carrot or a stick is, what would it be? Reward versus punishment. What motivates you more? Reward
Well, I
or
would think
punishment?
the carrot, the reward, and the stick's the punishment.
That would be accurate. Stick, 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 stick. Can be both, but usually stick. Got it. Yeah. So so the choice is, and this is the hard part, is how do you where do you choose to find the stick? And if we're left to our own devices, we look for little sticks versus bats. Right? We need somebody to hit us with a bat. And if you're reward driven, what's a good enough reward? Where do you find where can you find that? How do you really set yourself? Because here's the thing. I set myself up for little rewards along the way. Treats, if you will. I give myself reprieve once I hit certain milestones. I chunk down my overall goal and I say, okay, if I got to do 20 quality conversations today, for every 5, I'm going to take a break and I'm going to do X. I'm going to give myself 10-minute scroll or whatever, or I'm going to go up and get a treat. I'm going to get a piece of fruit or a protein bar or something, whatever your carrot is to break up kind of the monotony, give yourself. But then the other side is I'm either going to set a timer or I'm not going to get up until I do. And then I'm going to just commit to that little sprint, that mini sprint and say, all right, it's 5 contacts or I don't move. I don't get to check my email. I don't get to check social till 5, go. And then see how long it takes. And then I'm like, okay, all right, that took 19 minutes or 27 minutes. I'm going to take my break and then I'm just going to track it. I'm going to mark it down and say, okay, the first 5 took 19 or 27 minutes. This next 5. Now my goal is how do I beat the next one by a minute or 2 or how do I just get faster? So I gamify even internally. How do you find ways to continue to gamify for optimization, for fun, right? So anyway, I know we're a little bit over time. Look for the opportunity to gamify, get some accountability, create some rewards, create some punishments, and then watch your goals get blown out of the water. All right, y'all. Have an amazing day. Deuces.